Was this AB trade more about the Browns or the Steelers?
Wasn't about the Cleveland Browns, if you mean the Browns plural. It was about Antonio Brown.
Excuse me, sorry. Yes. Antonio Brown.
No, it was 100% in its entirety about Antonio Brown. The Steelers are simply pawns in this entire equation. You can tell me, you can try to convince me there was a coincidence that the year that Antonio Brown goes from $0 in guarantees, his contract finally expires in terms of its guaranteed money. You can tell me the year that he is officially one of the most underpaid wide receivers in the NFL, scheduled to be something like 15, then 12, and so forth, $1 million. All coincidentally coincides with when he gets into it with Ben Roethlisberger, when he gets into it with Mike Tomlin, when he has a problem with the Rooneys, when he has a problem with every single aspect of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. It just all coincidentally aligned in this one season. No. The Steelers were held hostage 100% by Antonio Brown's contract desires, Drew Rosenhaus' successful negotiation. And make no mistake, Antonio Brown won. I recognize that. And by the way, it wasn't just the Steelers that were the pawns. The Buffalo Bills and any other team that was interested in Antonio Brown. He essentially was like a poison pill when a business takes a poison pill to ward off other companies that wants to have a hostile takeover, perform a hostile takeover of their stock. You depress, and in the stock world, you increase your price. But in this case, he depressed his own value. I mean, I don't want to be inflammatory here, but it's like a suicide bomber. He was willing to take down the entire organization in order for his own individual benefit. And it worked. The Steelers were just a pawn in this equation.
You're not wrong if you look at it up close.
Just want to interrupt by saying, next time, it's perfectly okay to say, Stephen A., I've listened, I've learned, and
Did
I
you say
completely
that?
agree
I'm sorry,
with
I was on the train.
I understand up close why it looks like that. You're not wrong if you want to say, how did this happen? You described it accurately. Because the Steelers, and you've made this point and others have, you can't pay as much money. You can't pay 10% or plus of your salary cap to a receiver and win the Super Bowl. It's really hard. But what about paying someone else 10% of your salary cap to pay the receiver to play for them? That's even harder. You're not even getting his production. So they really wanted him off the team. He succeeded in doing his thing. Here's the problem. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, two different agents. Rosenhaus and Bakari is Le'Veon Bell's agent. Right? Two different agents. Same result. The Steelers are left with a third-round pick, as Stephen A. pointed out earlier, for a special, all-world, all-time great Hall of Famer in his prime skills position guy. So two different agents? Are they colluding? Are they doing this together? Is this a strategy? No. What this is an indication that players are figuring out and their agents are figuring out, look, we're never going to win the CBA because we're negotiating against a monopoly that the government doesn't recognize as a monopoly. So we're never going to win. They're always going to get you. But here's how we can get paid, even though we're at a disadvantage. We can use leverage like sitting out a season, like being a poison pill for your franchise. We can do that. And what the Steelers have done here, and I identified it with Le'Veon Bell first. No. To hell with this iteration of our team. We are going to draw a line in the sand for our franchise. Players, you think you're going to submarine our season? Wrong, because we will shoot ourselves in the foot in order to prove the point. Going forward, if you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this won't fly. The problem is there are 31 other teams. This will work. If you are, Louis Riddick pointed out earlier, Stephen A., you got to be a special skills position player. But if you're specially talented, you can do things to force the NFL, someone in the NFL will pay you what you're worth. You can do things to do it, and that's what's happening here.
Here's the deal. All y'all points are accurate. I'm not gonna belabor that. I will say this: taking a different angle. Drew Rosenhaus did a sensational job with this. It's just no other way to slice it. To go from $0 guaranteed dollars within the framework or the same remaining contract. It's not like he got a contract extension for years on top of it. No, basically under the guise of this contract that you signed years ago, with the expiration, as you pointed out, Will, of the guaranteed dollars, the guaranteed portion of it all. Drew Rosenhaus went out and got the man $30 million in guaranteed money. $30 million. I mean, right now, if I'm DeMaurice Smith for the NFL Players Association, I better hope that Drew Rosenhaus don't want my job, because I don't know anybody that's looked out for a player to this degree like this.
To go live in Vegas instead of Pittsburgh.
Hold on, just this point, Stephen A. This was not Rosenhaus alone, because Rosenhaus had to have leverage. And the leverage that was created by Antonio Brown's willingness to throw the Steelers under the bus.
Stop right there. Let me help you out there.
Yeah.
I was a reporter in Philly with Drew Rosenhaus representing T.O. Same strategy was employed. T.O. wanted out. Philadelphia pushed him out, exiled him. He ended up signing with the Cowboys, okay? This is what T.O. wanted. He wanted out. So now as I'm thinking about it, I understand the player has to be a willing participant. Of course, the agent can only do but so much. But make no mistake about it, Drew Rosenhaus got his fingerprints all over this stuff. Now we look at Antonio Brown. I really, really believe, as I've said earlier, that there's a legitimate argument that can be made. That all of this, it wasn't about throwing the quote-unquote the team under the bus. I think you might have had some players that were in on it. Big Ben Roethlisberger, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we find out down the line Big Ben Roethlisberger was in on this all along. Go ahead and dog me. Go ahead and say whatever you got to say. We're going to get you paid. I know you want your money, my brother. I appreciate everything you did for me, whatever. What did Bill Barnwell in this column say? From 2013 to 2016, Brown averaged 120 catches, 1,578 yards, 11 touchdowns per season. Went a long way towards making Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Why would Ben do that, though?
I'm just saying, because in the NFL, you have players that are willing to band together because they detest the system and how it's margin. Oh, yes.
But not here, not now, not this.
No. I don't know. I'm not saying I know that. I'm not even saying I heard that.
Why wouldn't you want your brothers in arms to get paid?
I'm just saying, think about
that.
It does. I'm saying, Will, this way. It's not beyond the realm.
To get him paid by another team, did he think his own team would fold under this pressure?
Wait a minute. It actually works best because if you Big Ben and you wouldn't mind him being gone because he's complaining about his money all the time, but there's a way to facilitate him getting out the door, getting his money while at the same time you being rid of him. You just never know. I'm just saying, I've seen worse things conjured up in the world of sports.